Well, I got one that's a pretty big announcement. Netflix has announced that they will be greenlighting an animated Ghostbusters show. Let's look at history for a second, because we had our Ghostbusters movie, famous team, exactly. But we had the Ghostbusters TV show, which ran for 140 episodes on ABC Saturday morning. Honestly, giving Ghostbusters a lot more eyes on this product as a Saturday morning cartoon. Also followed by a 40-episode series of Extreme Ghostbusters, which, different. My kids love that one.
I loved it too.
But honestly, if you want to talk about just something that put more eyes on Ghostbusters and maybe got them out there to produce a second part of the movie, that first Ghostbusters cartoon is amazing with the work that it's done. So this kind of seems a very logical thing to do. Ghostbusters was very successful as an animated series. My question is, where are you going to go with this now? Are we going to follow more like the universe created an Afterlife and Frozen Empire? I think there's room to maybe integrate the original cartoon with some of those elements from some of the newer movies.
Well, it's Netflix. You know where they're going to go.
We could. The possibilities are endless on this, because I absolutely loved the Real Ghostbusters cartoon.
As we all did.
It was one of my favorites. Lorenzo Music, the voice of Peter. Arsenio Hall was the voice of Venkman. This was a great show. Winston, sorry.
Yeah.
I forget the actor that was the voice of Venkman, but
Lorenzo Hall was the voice of Venkman.
Venkman, okay. Spangler, I was trying to think of the voice. Because that show was great.
Uncle Joey from Full House was the voice of...
That's right.
Ray. The hot one, John Stamos. Yeah.
No. Uncle Joey.
It's
the comedian.
Jesse.
The one that Alanis Morissette wrote a song about.
I know who you're talking about.
Dave Coulier.
There you go.
Regardless, I think the potential for this is good, because I think not so much the movie, the Ghostbusters cartoon is what brought a lot of children into that genre, and they were getting all the toy products and everything that you saw were based around the cartoon, not the movie.
I can tell you this. I saw the movie with my parents in '84 when it came out.
Yeah.
And I remember being in there, and I was scared to death of Ghostbusters. It was not funny to me.
Yeah.
And because we'd never seen special effects like that in the '80s at that time. I was scared to death. But watching the Real Ghostbusters showed me it was okay.
Yeah.
And this is not scary. And I went back and watched the original movie and fell in love with it. So that couldn't be just my story. That had to be other stories. And seeing Winston Zeddemore. Back in the day, there weren't a lot of black characters that were main characters. And the Real Ghostbusters was one of the first that had somebody I could identify with. And because of the Real Ghostbusters in '86, I decided to get a gray sweatsuit. And I drew me a Ghostbuster symbol on a piece of paper.
Hell yeah.
I taped it on here and taped a bicycle pump on my back, and that was my Halloween costume.
That's called cosplay.
And yes, and I did that, and we went around my neighborhood with a trash bag. And that trash bag was full, and I don't know if it's because of my costume, and they were like, this poor black kid. They must have no money.
Little column A. I had a few of those Halloween costumes, for sure. Honey. Candy.
Yes, but it was... Anyway, the Real Ghostbusters.
But the magic of that first episode of Ghostbusters was them walking back to the firehouse, still covered in marshmallow goop, and Janine's like, "Well, here's your new suits," and they seamlessly went into now we have these different color kind of suits, and
it was great writing.
Yes, it was. It's the cartoon that made Slimer such the adorable character that everybody kind of liked. Because Slimer in the movie was kind of a throw. They caught him. That's it. Slimer had a spin-off.
Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters.
What?
Slimer had a spin-off cartoon.
Yeah, spin-off cartoon. And then it was Slimer.
Sheltered.
So
I grew up in that era, kind of, but sheltered. Not allowed to watch anything.
No, man. You gotta understand, Saturday morning was an institution. So you had the Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, You had Punky Brewster. You had the Real Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, DuckTales. There were so many things that came on in that time period that were just pivotal.
I was allowed to watch Mighty Mouse until it got weird.
Are you talking about the what's his name? The New Adventures of Mighty Mouse? Yeah. That was the weird one. But that was also done by Ralph Bakshi.
Yep.
Which he's...
the guy that did the old Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he also did Fritz the Cat.
He's got some weird ideas about animation.
I enjoy the story of Ralph Bakshi, honestly.
He is wild.
Yeah. He's a fascinating person, and he made some weird but really good shit.
He reminds me of like the guy who created Wonder Woman. Like he's got some weird ideas.
Yeah. Just to close out, the series will be being developed by Ghost Core Studios, so Jason Reitman and Gil Kanan will be spearheading some of the writing and producing on the show.
I think it's going to be a spin-off of the movies, the more recent ones.
I think this is the time to do it. I think the iron is hot with Afterlife.
I like the girl one too.
I like the cast that they brought in with Afterlife and Frozen Empire. I think would translate well to an animated property.
That's what's about to happen.
Pick up new fans. I kind of do want to watch some.
That's
of these
exactly what the success of the animated series was. It picked up those new fans. It was able to bring that merchandise, but you were able to get that merchandising in with the Real Ghostbusters. You were having the Ecto-1 and all the characters.
But that's
they
what
were
I'm
pumping
asking.
it out.
Well, the new movies plus this new series get a new generation.
If it's done right, absolutely, because we've seen the success before.
Do the new movies set it up?
Oh yeah, they could easily do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those characters translate well to an animated form, even if they are there in a guest capacity.
Yeah.
Because they're probably, what I would think is that they'd have the people from the movie just appear in it from time to time to be kind of in a mentorship role.
Well, you could have the character just voiced by somebody else.
Yeah.
I think the potential is there if it's done right. So a new Ghostbusters animated series, the third one coming to Netflix.
When?
Let's go.
No announcement yet.
Okay.
But it's been greenlit. They're gonna, if Netflix has said they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it for better or worse at this point.
I'm just curious.